Hi, my name is Sadra Sajjadi and today I'm going to teach you how to play Belaad, the Land of Swords and Quills. The story of Belaad is a free adaptation of one of the golden ages in Islam and the southwest region of Asia. In this era, many scholars began to appear and draw everyone's attention to themselves through novel inventions and discoveries. The kingdom, which recognizes the power of knowledge, attempts to employ these scholars as much as possible in order to strengthen their reign and acquire more profits. However, the people who understand the intentions of the kingdom wish to help these scholars and use their scientific findings in order to improve their welfare and overcome their problems. During the conflict between the kingdom and the people, a new sect called the Order of Hashishin emerges. They believe that power breeds corruption and therefore must be destroyed. They're convinced that these scientific findings in the hands of the kingdom would subject the people into further injustice and oppression. They also reckon that because of the people's lack of knowledge and their inability to hold on to their belongings, this power will fall into the wrong hands. Therefore, they are driven to assassinate these scholars. Let's see what will take place in these golden ages. First, the setup of the game. Take note that this tutorial is for a 4-player game. Form the pool by placing the red coins, gold coins worth 1 unit, and the gold coins worth 3 units. After that, the 5 swords. Shuffle the battle deck and place it next to the pool. Shuffle the scholar cards deck. Randomly discard 10 cards from the deck and remove them from the game without seeing them. Reveal 5 scholars and place them in the play area. Shuffle the action cards deck. Deal 4 to each player. And separate the remaining cards into 3 roughly even face-up decks and place them in the center of the play area. Place all the white and orange tokens in the bag and place it in the center of the play area. Place the character boards of each team in the middle of the play area separately. The kingdom team with blue marks, the people team with green marks, and the order team with red marks. The order team comes in play in 3 or 5 player games. So for this tutorial, we won't need the character boards or the Hashish deck. We will remove them from the game. Lastly, each player collects 1 red coin, 1 gold coin, and a reference card. Belaad is played in 4 generations. In each generation, 5 scholars appear, and the players in the people and the kingdom teams attempt to employ them. As soon as 3 of the scholars are employed, the remaining 2 are discarded, and 5 other scholars are revealed to form the new generation. The game continues as described until the end of the 4th generation. At the end of the game, the team with the most points is the winner. Before beginning the game, players are split evenly into the 2 teams. The players of each team must be seated alternatively. In other words, each player must be seated between 2 players of the opposing team. The game starts with the youngest player of the kingdom team and continues clockwise. In their turn, each player chooses 1 card from their 4 action cards and plays it. To play a card, you reveal it in the middle of the play area and perform its actions. After, choose the topmost card from one of the 3 face-up decks in the middle of the play area and add it to your hand. Therefore, players must always have 4 cards in their hand at any time during the game. Each action card has 2 sections, the primary action and the secondary action. To perform the secondary action, first the cost should be paid. If paid, you can perform both the primary and the secondary action in your turn. The order of the action is up to you. In this section, the different types of actions are explained, and a summary is also provided on the last page of the rulebook. By playing these action cards, you collect the same number of gold or red coins specified on the card from the pool. This action card allows you to randomly draw the specified number of tokens from the bag. All wooden tokens collected from the bag must be placed on your team's character boards. Each of the white tokens have a symbol matching the symbols on each of the team's character boards. The white tokens must be placed in a space on the upper section of the corresponding character board. When placing a white token, if all spaces on the board are full, Discard the token and return it to the bag. Orange tokens can be used in two ways. You can place them in a space on the upper section of any character board of your choice. You can also place them on an empty space on the lower section of any board to use their special ability. For example, the commander's ability allows you to collect a sword from the pool. At the end of your turn, if all spaces in the lower sections of the character boards are full, discard all orange tokens from these spaces and return them to the bag. In future turns, you can place orange tokens there again and use the special abilities once more. By playing action cards containing symbols of the characters in your team, the general ability of that character will be activated. This action card activates the symbol on the corresponding character board on your team and allows you to collect gold coins from the pool. The number of collected coins through this action card is the same as the number of symbols shown on that character board. This action card allows you to steal the same number of gold coins from one of the opponent players as the number of symbols on the corresponding character board. If the number of gold coins owned by the player you want to steal from is less than the number of symbols of your team's character, you can only steal those coins. You cannot collect the remaining coins from another player or the pool. An action card with this symbol activates the matching character on your team and allows you to draw the same number of tokens from the bag as the number of symbols on your team's character and place them in the permitted spaces on the character boards as described before. And now, the main action you can play to gain points, employing scholars. By playing this action card, you can employ a scholar for your team. You must choose one of the revealed scholars and pay the cost of gold coins to the pool to employ it. The coins required for employing the scholars are reduced by the number of these symbols on your team's character board. After paying the cost of gold coins, you collect the chosen scholar card and place it by your board. In this case, the required cost to employ this scholar is reduced by 3, and therefore you only pay 7 gold coins to employ this scholar. And finally, one of the most exciting parts of the game, battle, which gives you points and weakens the opposing team. By playing this action card, you declare war against the opposing team and enter battle with the closest player to your left. Shuffle the battle deck and place it between the two players. Before starting the battle, determine the military strength of both sides. The military strength of each team is equal to the number of the symbols on the commander and the folk hero boards. In this case, the people have 5 military strength and the kingdom have 3. Also, the kingdom team's player has a sword which can be used in battle. The player with less military strength must choose one of these actions in their battle turn, admit defeat and forfeit the battle, or continue the battle. To continue, they must reveal a card from the battle deck. There are 3 different kinds of battle cards in the deck. Green cards, which increase military strength, red cards, which decrease military strength, and skeleton cards, which means losing the battle regardless of military strength. To start the battle, the player with the less military strength, in this case the kingdom, reveals a battle card from the top of the battle deck, and the kingdom's military strength increases to 5. Once again, the player with less military strength reveals the next battle card. Now that the strengths are equal, the aggressor, again the kingdom, must reveal a card. Remember that instead of revealing a card, any of the battle participants can admit defeat and end the battle. The player of the kingdom team reveals this card and the difference of the military strengths becomes 1 in favor of the kingdom. Next, the player of the people team who decides to continue battle reveals a battle card and the difference becomes 2 in favor of the kingdom. This player decides to go on and reveals another card and the difference becomes 3 in favor of the people. Next, the player of the kingdom team who is at 6 opposed to 9 reveals the skeleton card and loses. However, by discarding a sword, this card's effect is negated and the battle continues. Then, the kingdom team's player reveals another card which changes the results to 11 to 9 in their favor. Finally, as the people team's player reveals the skeleton card and there are no swords available to negate the effect, the battle is concluded and the kingdom team emerges triumphant. After the battle, the winner gains the spoils of war. There are 2 types of spoils of war depending on whether the winner is the aggressor or the defender. If the aggressor is the winner of the battle, the player secretly takes a look at the next battle card on top of the battle deck and places it face down next to their play area. At the end of the game, this card gives the team the number of victory points written on top of the card. If the defender is the winner of the battle, the player collects 1 sword and places it next to their play area. If the losing team forfeits the battle, they suffer no casualties. But if they lose the battle by revealing a skeleton card, the winner chooses one of the losing team's character boards and discards all orange and white tokens from the board and returns them to the bag. The action card with this symbol allows you to activate the general ability of one of your team's characters and play with the same rules of that symbol. For example, if you activate the general ability of the treasurer, you collect 4 gold coins from the pool. After performing this secondary action, all gold coins belonging to you and your teammates will be transferred to the treasury. The treasury of each team is controlled by the character with the chest symbol. All coins in the treasury cannot be stolen by any action. This secondary action increases the strength of the character's symbols momentarily. For example, an action card with this symbol allows you to collect gold coins from the pool equal to your team's character's symbols. Now, if you decide to use the secondary action simultaneously, the number of symbols of that character is considered to be 2 more at that moment, and 2 more gold coins are collected from the pool. This secondary action allows you to choose one of the opponent's character boards and remove all white and orange tokens placed on that character's board and return them to the bag, same as the skeleton symbol on the battle cards. And finally, an example of this secondary action which allows you to instantly choose one of the 3 action cards on the top of the 3 action decks and perform that card's actions. By playing this action card, you first collect 4 gold coins from the pool. Then, by paying 2 gold coins to the pool, you activate the secondary action and you're allowed to perform the actions of 1 action card from the 3 action decks. By choosing the card on the left and selecting this action, you can employ 1 scholar. However, before doing so, you first perform the secondary action of this card by paying 2 red coins. Now, you can once more select one of the action cards on the remaining action decks and perform it. This time, by selecting the middle card, you collect 3 gold coins from the pool. Now that you have enough coins to employ 2C, you perform the primary action of employing scholars. Because the Sultan has 3 symbols, you pay only 7 coins to the pool to employ 2C. Swords can be used in 2 ways during the game. First, they can be used to negate the effect of skeleton cards, either in battle cards or secondary actions. Second, they can be used to hire scholars without spending any gold coins. Some of the scholars have 1 or 2 swords in the upper section of their cards in addition to gold coins. In your turn, you can discard the specified number of swords to hire a scholar instead of employing him using gold coins. Hiring a scholar using swords doesn't take a separate turn, meaning you can do it in addition to playing your action card. Take note that you can only employ 1 scholar in each turn. At the end of the 4th generation, the game immediately ends and both teams count their points. Teams gain scientific and military points, scientific points from employing scholars and military points from the spoils of war. The scientific points of each team are the sum of the scientific symbols on scholar cards which have been employed by that team during the game. Each scholar card has some main scientific points and auxiliary scientific points. As you can see, the sum of the points for the main scientific symbols is 16. To count the extra points, the conditions at the bottom of each card must be met separately. The first card grants 1 point in exchange for 3 red coins. The second card grants 1 point in exchange for any combination of 3 red or gold coins. The third card grants 1 point in exchange for 2 gold coins, but because you only have 1 gold coin left, you don't gain any auxiliary points from this scholar. The fourth card has no extra points. Based on the table on page 27, the last 3 cards, which have 3 identical specialties, grant a total of 5 points. Therefore, you have gained 7 extra points and your total scientific score is 23. Considering these cards gained from the spoils of war, the military points of this team is a total of 4. Ultimately, the final score of the team sums up to 27. Finally, the team with the most points is the winner of the game. In case of a tie, the team with the most swords wins. If the number of both teams' swords are equal, the team with the most gold coins wins the game. If there is still a tie, teams share the victory. This tutorial has now ended. But if you want to play Belaad with 3 or 5 players, stay tuned to see how the Order of Hashishin affect the game. Because of the Order's distinct goal of assassinating the scholars, instead of employing them, they have some special conditions throughout the game. One of these conditions is that the Order player may never have any swords throughout the game. Also, this team only has 4 character boards, and they don't have any character with this symbol to employ scholars. Therefore, if they draw a token with this symbol, they must return it to the bag. In a 3-player game, the order plays the same way as the kingdom and the people, meaning they play a card from their hand of 4 and draw a card from one of the face-up decks in the middle of the play area. But in a 5-player game, the order have 5 cards in hand and play 2 cards in their turn, and after, they draw 2 cards from the 3 face-up decks. By placing an orange token in the bottom section of the Hashish board, you draw 3 cards from the Hashish deck, choose 2 of them, and place them under the character boards matching the symbols on the back of the cards. And then discard the remaining card. Each Hashish card has a unique ability which the order team player can use in addition to action cards in their turn. Each of the Hashish cards can be used only once per turn. The description of the Hashish cards are available in the order reference card. If because of a skeleton symbol on the battle cards or a secondary action, all white and orange tokens on one of the order team's character boards are removed, the Hashish cards at the bottom of that character boards are also removed and discarded. By activating the spy's special ability by placing an orange token, you are allowed to perform one of these 4 actions. Either steal a combination of 3 red or gold coins from opponent players, discard 3 white or orange tokens from the opposing team's character boards, discard a sword from an opponent player, or draw 2 random tokens from the bag. By activating the sect leader's ability, you may pay 4 gold coins to assassinate a scholar, or a token from an opposing team's character board. Place the assassinated scholars or tokens next to your character boards. You must not place an assassinated token on your own character board. As said before, the order's goal is to assassinate scholars in order to gain points from their scientific symbols. Some of the scholars have 1 or more symbols on the top of their card. In order to gain points from them, you must assassinate tokens matching these symbols and place them on that card. Orange tokens are wild and may be placed on any symbol on that card. Another way to assassinate tokens is by activating the Assassin's ability. This ability allows you to draw 1 random token from the bag, which counts as an assassinated token to place on scholar cards. The next way to assassinate tokens is by winning battles. Unlike the kingdom and the people, the order doesn't get swords or military points as the spoils of war. Instead, they assassinate 1 token from the upper section of any opposing team's character board. Because of the order's different goal in the game, their victory conditions are completely different and can only be achieved before the end of the game. The order win only if they can assassinate enough scholars before the end of the 4th generation, in which the game immediately ends. If the game ends without the order meeting these conditions, they lose unconditionally, and the winner would be one of the kingdom or people teams. The order player needs at least 6 scientific symbols gained from assassinated scholars in order to win the game. These scientific symbols only count as points if the symbols on the top section of the cards are assassinated. Whenever the order player has 6 or more points, the game immediately ends and the order wins. In this example, the order player has 4 points, and as soon as they place these assassinated tokens on this card, they reach 7 points and they win the game instantly. Notice that the order player gains no auxiliary points from scholars. Now you are ready to play Belaad. I hope you have a nice experience. If you have any further questions, contact us on social media platforms at Islima Games. Thanks for watching.